Hello, and welcome to Socially Holistic Podcast. Socially Holistic helps coaches and holistic entrepreneurs and women in heart-centered businesses make sense of social media so they can build their own online network and get more clients. As a heart-centered business owner, you do amazing work. Holly's mission in life is to help you help more people. Help us help more women in business with a 5-star review of this podcast. Please leave one today over at iTunes. The more women who find out about this podcast, the more heart-centered businesses will be successful. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to the Socially Holistic Podcast, episode number 15. This is your host, Holly Wharton, and I'm here with today's special guest, Mary Joyce, who is the Resources Queen. Hello, Mary.
Oh, hi, Holly.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much for being here. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your background? I absolutely love that you've given yourself the title the Resources Queen, because I think resources are such an important part of any business.
Oh, I think it's because I'm royal, so I thought, being a queen.
Of course.
I've got blue blood running through my veins.
Fantastic.
Definitely, it's because I use a lot of tools, and it just came from, it evolved. Because I come from a holistic background, I started off as a massage therapist. That was my first ever business. Mm-hmm. So it kind of evolved into coaching and teaching others how to build their business. And I actually went to a weekend mastermind with one of my coaches. And then when I came back, when you spend the weekend away and you get time to really sit and focus on your business, we had a strategy, a one-to-one call when I came back, and we're sort of percolating some things. And literally, because of her time, she's a very high-level coach, so I know, you've got laser-focused time, and I thought, right, I've got to make the most of our time together when we're talking together. And literally 30 seconds before the call, before we connect on the call, the download came like ResourcesQueen, and that was it. It was just literally 30 seconds, and then I thought, you know what, that's me, because I'm a very resourceful person, and also around, the tools and the automation and making life really easy and building your business.
And I think that's one of the things that so many business owners struggle with. It's like either they think that they're not tech savvy, or they've got a limiting belief around that, or they just don't even know what is out there.
That's exactly it. I think if you can send the thing is, I never knew how to do a website before I came online. I didn't know how to. I remember going on Facebook and thinking, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. I was so embarrassed. I thought I'd have to message my friend. I was like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And the thing is, you learn. It's like anything. You do everything one step at a time. And you learn. And this is one thing I'd really like to put across to you, to your listeners, because there, obviously now there's a lot of ways to outsource your work, but I would definitely recommend that you get some kind of, before you outsource anything, that you have an understanding. It doesn't mean you have to know exactly how to do it or the ins and outs of it, but you have an understanding how something works, and then outsource it. It's much easier to outsource or get somebody else to do something rather than giving total control over to somebody and then being left in a place where when there is any problems that you don't really understand what's going on or how to fix it.
I completely agree with that. I think it just makes so much more sense, because it's so much easier to manage someone and to supervise what they're doing when you know how things should be done properly.
And especially around, because I also do a lot around, systemizing things. Mm-hmm. If you're going to systemize everything, it's worth for you to actually create the system first, and then it's much easier to hand over and to put into a system so it works. So definitely having that knowledge is invaluable. And some people, like you say, get frustrated and they think it's really difficult or it's really tech, but it's worth investing. If someone's at the starting stages, that's the most important time to invest of learning things and building things up and making it really solid, because once your business starts taking off, you need those solid foundations to be able to grow, because otherwise you'll find you'll reach a certain ceiling in business, and because you haven't got those procedures or systems in place, things start to collapse because you can't keep up you just can't keep up with what's coming in, and then people get overstressed or overworked. You just can't deal, and then you can't grow, because you just really need to have those processes and systems in place from the off.
I think that's a very, very important point. So tell us a little bit about your business journey. How did you get to where you are with your business today as the Resources Queen?
Yeah, it kind of was a natural progression. It kind of evolved. Like I said, I worked for years in the beauty business, and then when I had my children, that wasn't really very viable. So I used to work sort of in sales, and I'd done some marketing. So it's so funny when you look through your life, because I really had no clear direction. I was doing this, that. I was just sort of really... So I was young, by today's standards. When I had my daughter, I was 24. So I was just finding myself. I wasn't really having any clear direction. It was more about going out and partying, having fun, because I'm from Ireland.
Yeah.
So come the bright lights of London, I was like, woohoo, great. So it was really getting into not having this very clear. It was just really not having a clear direction at all about life, not having a clue. Just going to. I've always been a worker. I've always been someone who was really good at getting, work and generating and making money, always been resourceful. So I was in that, and I thought, after I had my daughter, I thought, what am I going to do? Because I wanted to spend that time with her for the first few years. So until I stayed at home. I didn't work while she was in her first few years of, until she started school. I didn't really look into going back into work. But in that time, I sort of, you kind of went on a bit of a spiritual journey, just absorbed so much information, started going online, because really I think that was back in the it was early, 2003, around that time, and started engrossing myself in, online, things that was happening online and trainings, and sitting there crazily, listening to teleseminars and trainings and writing down, mountains, a copious amount of notes and how to do things and planning things out, and literally just started planning things and then getting myself prepared and ready and just learning as much as I could. And then I thought, what can I do, that will still support me, make me money and work around my children? So I thought, well, I can do massage. So I set up my own massage business that I used to run as a mobile business. Mm-hmm. So I could sort of generate income from there. I didn't have a website. I was on the front page of Google just from an advert. I used to have a business directory. So I kind of, with all the skills I was learning, I was very able to, how to, just words and everything to generate income. So I really quickly filled up my practice. I really got, and this is what I was saying about the ceiling, because as a therapist, you could, there's only so many massages you can do. There's only so many treatments you can do. And then with the time and everything, it got to a certain level, and I'd build up my Facebook, and people were watching what I was doing. They were saying, oh, how do you do this? So then it naturally grew into a coaching, and I was getting more involved in the personal development worlds and stuff. I was starting to have people come to me because I started doing hypnomassage. I started, using, because I was also went in and got trained, in NLP and coaching and hypnosis. So I started introducing the hypnomassage into my treatments, and I was finding that people were really coming to me because people have always come to me talking to me, so it progressed. It wasn't like a great plan, but a lot of people started coming to me, asking me, oh, how do you do this? Oh, I see you do this. So naturally was getting therapists, coaches coming to me asking me how to show them. I thought, well, here's another opportunity. Let me make money out of this. I started, setting up my coaching business and showing others how to do it. And then I do a lot of work here for the government. I run some training programs, so I'm quite involved in my community. So I'm really I also, as well as my online life, sound like some crazy right, but my online life, and I've got also offline things where I run programs and coaching. I just finished a project just finished in July actually, where I had a team of coaches working in the community. So I sort of coordinated the project, and we were working with families that are vulnerable. So it's sort of as well creating the community and sort of helping and supporting other people, because the power in the coaching is just, it's amazing how you can transform someone's life, not just from their standpoint, but just in the personal as well. So
it's so satisfying.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if I die tomorrow, I know I've helped hundreds of people. So
excellent.
So yeah.
And I love how your business just kind of flowed into something completely different, but it was like a gradual process, and it seemed to happen naturally as people were just coming to you because they saw that you were really, really good at something, and it was that same thing that they needed.
Yeah, that's exactly, and this is what I teach as well about client attraction. So I've never had to really go out and find clients. I haven't had to, if you've probably known, Holly, you've gone to networking meetings and somebody comes up and they're like throwing their cards at you. It's just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are so focused on kind of going out there and kind of blasting their message out to people and thinking that that's going to get them clients, because that's kind of the old school style of out marketing rather than inbound marketing, which is attracting people to you.
And that's the thing about putting yourself in a position. For me, the way I do marketing is really about educating. I tend to educate. I over deliver like crazy. I've had people come up to me at events and go, "Oh my God, I've got your stuff. You've helped me," and I think, "Oh wow," I had no clue. And so it's really about and really educating people and help. The more people you help, the more your business grows. The more you do for others, that it's just a natural thing. And I just recently did a Grow Your Tribe. Well, I do it every Tuesday on my Facebook page anyway, but I do a Grow Your Tribe event. And I just did a 30-day challenge. And that was really cool because I had a Facebook group. So it was really nice to see, because a lot of times, I'm quite a big mailing list now. So a lot of the people, just to see their faces was so cool, just having, and I was like, oh, faces behind the name. So it was very cool just to connect with people. And I really like having that personal connection with people. Yeah. And it's not just names on a mailing list. When I'm writing to people, it's just, I'm writing to you, so it's very cool. I feel very blessed that it's kind of come to this stage in my life, and it's almost like accidentally on purpose.
I love how that works out.
It's having trust, isn't it? That things will work out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's another thing that a lot of women struggle with in business, because it's like when you're first getting started, if you don't have that business and marketing experience, or as you do sales experience, it's like you have no idea what to do. You have no idea how to set this thing up, and you're learning, and everyone has different theories, and it's like so much information, and it can be really challenging to just trust that it will work out as far as you take the steps and take the action and do the work.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think what a lot of people tend to do, and I've seen so many people do this, they give up a really well-paid job. A really well-paid job. They haven't really studied or learned about the business, because they could have been very successful in their careers, but running your own business is a whole different ballgame. It's very easy to sell stuff for other people or just do that job. But when you're doing it for yourself, all your crap comes up. It's the biggest personal development journey anyone can ever go on. Yes. And they give up their really high paid job, and because they've obviously got it to a certain level of earning, and obviously, mortgages, you've got your bills, you've got food, living expenses, and they get into that stage where they've got no money coming in, and it comes to a very, desperate stage, and they, gets all those feelings of failure because there's no income coming in. And because the thing is you have to set those processes in place. And, there's loads of people out there, like, make 50,000 a year and all this, crazy, let's get to six figures. Like it's going to happen overnight. Nobody does that overnight. Nobody just sets up in business. It takes time and it's work. It's not an easy thing to build up a business. So I always say to anyone, think if you are working or you've got a job, because I hate all that when people, they go JOB, just over broke. And I think that's just such, it's just, that I always look at it like that's your business loan. That's what's going to support your business, what's going to help you grow your business. And the way I ever done anything was once my business, because I had my massage business and my coaching business. And once my coaching business started earning more than my massage business, I started gradually cutting down on that. The coaching business was taking more money than the massage business. And then I eventually left I didn't just, drop it and think, oh yes, I'm going to be a coach now. You still have to have some kind of income coming in. And because it costs money to be in business, you have to think about, it costs a lot of money to run a business. You're going to have a lot of expenses. So just think about, people have to really do their numbers.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, as you say, quit their job and just dive into their business rather than transitioning slowly out of one thing and into another thing.
That's totally it. And then spend a lot of money on things they really don't need. Yes. thousands of pounds on a website and nobody visits them.
Yes. Oh.
So, you have to really, and when I really started making money in my business, when I first got my first coaches, that's when I really started making money, because the thing is, when you're paying for something, you're going to you're going to pay attention, because all those free things and online things are great. But the thing is, once you pay money, and it's not like that investing, I don't really like all that thing as well. Well, you need to invest in yourself. You're investing in your business and grow your business. It's nothing to do with your self-esteem or your self-worth. Mm-hmm. When you're paying for somebody to coach you or to train you or to show you how to do a skill, it's more about you're learning how to do something, and you're going to pay attention, because if you paid for something, you're actually going to pay attention, and you're going to do the things that you need to do to make your business a success. But I remember at the time, I had no real money, and I remember, oh my God, I've spent more money on a month. I was thinking, I've never spent so much in a month. And I was like, oh my, and I remember thinking, you know what, it's just my overdraft. So as long as I keep my bank account, as long as every month I don't go over my bank account, I'm going to be okay, because my overdraft will literally cover the payments. And I thought, and I remember, and it was such a big thing, but it was a year's worth of coaching, and I learned so much. You would know that world existed, and it just really accelerated my learning, accelerated my earnings as well, because I finally understood how it worked. Because I'm not from a business background. I'd obviously worked in different industry, well, mainly the beauty industry, to be honest, and you learn different things as an employee. But that was the best thing I ever did. And now, I wouldn't be without a coach, to be honest, because you always need someone who's quite a few steps ahead of you to show you the way.
I agree, and to hold you accountable for the stuff that you need to be doing.
And I've got some kick-ass coaches, they just don't let you. And I've got more than one. I haven't just got one. I've got a few for different things, because there's different things you need help with. And I've got one, she's coming over actually in a couple of weeks. I haven't seen her in real life for a couple of years, so it's quite good to have some hugs. And she's proper kick-ass, she doesn't take any excuses, so she's going to probably, but, she's so amazing, so amazing.
Excellent. So what kinds of different coaches are you working with?
So they're mainly marketing and business, and then around sales. So the one that's coming over, her name's Marsha Wright. She does marketing, but really helps around positioning and really growing your business. And she's really cool and really walks her talk, Then I've also I've just finished with doing some stuff with Suzanne Evans, and then I like to join a lot of group programs as well as one-to-one, because you just meet so many amazing people. I know, and it's all about the networking and meeting people that can help you grow your business. And exactly, and that's where a lot, where you do joint ventures. Yes. I've gotten my best partners, because I've run a few telesummits myself, so I've really met the best partners, and just really, really, really helps to expand your reach and your growth. And really, I would just say doing a telesummit is just the quickest way to really, almost to make you an overnight expert. It's the best model to get you, as an overnight expert. So how do you work with people to help them set up systems and use the resources that are available to them with their business? Well, I've got a few different things. I either work with people, I have people I work with one-to-one. So we literally, I do like a whole day where I'll work with them, and I'll do, and then we do follow-up if they go into my yearly program. And I've also starting on Tuesday, launching, it's my first group program in 2 years. So I'm just working with a group of business owners, and we're going to take them through a 90-day program just to get there. Really, I really like to automate everything, so literally everything is totally automated. So when you get that thing where you've got money going into, because I went to a conference the other week, and I was like getting emails, and like I'm earning money. I'm sitting there on my bum all weekend, because I'm friends, and I'm thinking, I've earned money. And sometimes even my business, I earn more money than when I'm actually working in it, which sounds crazy. But the way things are set up, things are automated, and I've got, a lot with affiliate, I've got a lot of affiliate partners, but anything I recommend or I'm an affiliate to are only things I use myself. I'd never recommend or I'm an affiliate for something I don't believe in or haven't used myself. So I only ever recommend or I'm only ever affiliate with things that I've used myself or people that are really high caliber and conscious, sort of authentic, not creepy people. That are actually real, genuine, honest people that really, really have that same sort of feeling and, to help other people grow. Yeah, I totally understand what you mean. That's it. So what are some of the top business tools that you use most or recommend most? I like MailChimp I signed up for my mail management because of the monkeys. I love their whole personality and style. They're great. and it's so easy to use. And I mean, I'm starting to outgrow it now because, my list has gotten that big. And I also do have one shopping cart because for my affiliate program, but I'm kind of moving away from that because I'm trying to find a better solution because it's so clunky in there. I would not. I'm trying to take it out. I've got a resources guide that I give out for free on my website, and I really need to sort of remove it from there. there, because I've got a very love-hate relationship with One Shopping Cart, because because there's a lot of people that say that they're trained on it, and then when you hire them to get to do something, that they just don't know what they're doing. So it's a bit of a frustrating system. So I've found something new that I'm transitioning into, but all those things take time to move things over. So there's some of my favorites. And then I also love Instant Teleseminar for doing all my recordings. I like bit.ly as that's like my favorite little URL for it now. Hootsuite, it's almost like I fall in love with these resources. It's kind of crazy, but things that really work really well, and a lot of those, they're not expensive things at all, and some of them have their free versions that are really fine. And another thing I use all the time, and I absolutely love it, and it's just a free tool, it's xmind.net, and that is a brainstorming tool. Literally, when I'm doing anything, I plan it out on there. I'll literally just put whatever, I'll do my blog posts, my articles, emails, if I'm doing a talk, if I'm making a product, anything I'll do, I'll just plan it out on there, and it's just a brilliant tool.
Oh, good. I haven't heard of that one.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love it.
I know. I feel like I'm constantly saying, either on Facebook or Twitter, it's like I get really, really excited about something, and then I just say, oh, I love this thing. It's so amazing. And it's like...
Evernote. Oh, my goodness. Evernote. That is like a lifesaver. Evernote, I just love it. It's just excited about these little tools. But they make your life so easy, because the thing is, I do a lot, even though I do a lot of my business through my phone. So when I'm away, I can do so much just with my iPhone. And we're just so blessed nowadays.
I know.
That technology. And what happens sometimes, that it's moving so fast, and you can kind of get lost because it's moved so far ahead.
Yeah.
So sometimes the programs you're using, I think they're just so dated and slow and clunky that you kind of have to sort of move on, and things just, I think, kind of maybe probably need to slow down a little bit, because we as humans aren't that fast, and then people get so impatient.
Yes.
Nobody wants to wait for anything now. So, it's kind of it's a double-edged sword.
It is. But I think we're so blessed, as you say, that we do have these tools like smartphones and tablets and things that can help us run our business on the go.
Yeah, and it's kind of so freeing as well.
Yes, it is. So what would you say are your top tips for using tools to grow your business?
I would just say the time, because it just saves you so much time. Once things are set up, as long as they're all linked up and everything goes to the right place, just works. It's just you can actually create a whole system that's just all automated, and you really don't have to do too much. And it's just obviously keeping an eye to make sure it's all still working and everything, but it just makes life, like I say, easy, and it just saves you so much time. And I do a lot of things where I'll do, because I've got so many different things going on in my business, so many different elements, and I'm always doing so many things, and I'm working with clients, or I'm doing this event, and it just gets to that stage where you're doing so many things, but they're not things that take a lot of time. So I always work in very short. It's so funny. I've got a new assistant. I've got a real life assistant, so it's very cool. So I've always had virtual assistants. So she was going to me, because I'm kind of like training her into everything. And she goes, oh, is that what you... She was just like, oh, that's cool. And I says, well, what I normally do, I'll work for 15 minutes, and then I'll spend the rest of the day watching TV, really. But a lot of time, if I feel like it, I will. But work in sort of 15 minutes, maybe 30-minute batches, and really focus time, get the things done. I have a timer on my phone, and I will do that, whatever I need to do, and that time I always batch things together. So just using your time, because we all have the same, because a lot of people go, oh, I haven't got the time. And I think, I'll make you sick with the amount of things I get done in the time, and there's you can't do two things. I shouldn't be so, but it gets to around how we all have the same time. It's about how you choose to spend your time.
Yes, and how you prioritize your things, and whether you just kind of work away like a busy little beaver, or whether you're actually focusing on the high priority things and just kind of working through them.
That's exactly it. So it's just, and then I always say focus on the money stuff. What's going to make you money? You focus on this first, and then everything else can go along the wayside.
Exactly. Very, very good point. I think
universe, it's so powerful. It's so funny. I've been doing them every morning. I'm consciously putting in the things I need to do, and then the things I hand over to the universe, and then some crazy crazy out of the world sort of thing. And the stuff comes in. It's so crazy that all of this stuff just comes in, and all these opportunities just come in, without, I don't have to explain to you, Holly, but it just, once you pass things over, it just shapeshifts to bring, once you kind of put it out there what you want, it just naturally gets drawn to you. All the opportunities come.
Yes.
Your attention will be drawn to do something. It's just crazy how things happen,
And I think you talk in your website a lot about intuition and how important that is in your business, and I totally agree with that. This year alone, my business has changed so much just because things have popped into my head and I've just gone with it because it felt right.
And that's it, trusting that as well, because I know there's times, like I was doing something just recently and it was just such a stomach churning no, and I ignored it, and it wasn't a good move, and I thought, oh, Mary, you should know better than this, because I'm a very intuitive person, and I really go with and it doesn't make sense to a lot of other people, because they're like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing that? It's like, I'm just doing it. It will all pay off. And just having that trust, that trust in yourself that, and it's an adventure, it's just it's an adventure, if it doesn't go right, who cares? Just get up and do it again.
There's no failure, only feedback.
Yeah, that's it. It's just fun.
So what kinds of things do you outsource? I think that's another huge kind of ceiling that a lot of people reach. It's like they think they can do everything, or they're afraid to outsource. So what would be your top tips for outsourcing?
Well, for me, because I'm a real grammar criminal, I'm lucky I haven't been arrested by the grammar police, because my grammar is atrocious, my spelling. So if I really need to do something, I tend to get my assistant to do that if it has to be really good stuff. So on the whole, when in my emails, I purposely misspell things. I purposely have bad grammar, because that's the way I talk. So I don't try to stick up too much in my email. It's quite funny. A few weeks ago, and it was hilarious, actually, because I got this email from this person, and she'd totally sort of it was really funny. It just made me laugh. She'd highlighted all my stuff and saying, oh, this is a mistake, and all like this, and said, well, for $25 an hour, I for you.
Yes. I remember seeing that online. I think you were talking about that, and Amethyst Mahoney was also talking about that. So it seems like this person has been kind of using that as her way of doing business.
And it's just such a bad way to do it. But it gave me a great laugh anyway. It was just like, because I think sometimes, because for some people it drives them crazy, typos and stuff, but it just wakes you out of, because, we sometimes go into we're not really taking any notice. We go into our little default set and go through, and sometimes it just wakes people up, I think. It's just like a little pattern interrupt.
Yeah. And if they don't like it, and if it bothers them so much that they just, can't deal with it, then they can unsubscribe.
And I really like unsubscribers, because I think, I'm paying for you, so if you don't like me, get off my list. But the other things that I can outsource, mainly all the admin stuff. You can also, obviously, your social media, your updates. I am outsource a lot where I'm getting blog posts. I'll send the blog post to my assistant. They can upload it on the website. So there's so much things. Like I tend to be more, I'll create the stuff and then I'll send it off, and then they'll take care of that.
Good. So do you have any other tips for our listeners, or is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Well, let me think. Oh, yes, I've got loads of tips. But, I think just reiterate again, just get very clear, very focused what it is you're doing, and people will, and just be yourself, because people, it's no point being a copy. And I see this so much, especially in the coaching industry. It's almost like a little factory, somebody will go into somebody's program and then all of a sudden they're a mini version of them, and it's like, so be yourself, don't be afraid to be yourself or show who you are, and people will naturally be drawn to you as that. So, not have to, everything doesn't have to be perfect, just every little step you constantly course correct and work with things, just work with what you've got now. Mm-hmm. You move on to the next level, and where I think the resource, just to be resourceful, look at what it is you're able to do and what skills you need to update. Because the great thing is about skills, you can always learn them, but really, again, back to the intuition and your own natural gifts. And a lot of times I think people don't realize their gifts, because it becomes so easy for them, they take it for granted. Yes. So just nurture and treasure your gifts and the things that come so easily to you, because that's your magic there. That's your magic.
I like that. So you've mentioned a couple of the coaches that you've worked with. Are there any other women in business who inspire you?
Oh, there's so many. There's lots. I really love, obviously, Marsha Wright, Bernadette Doyle, who I've kind of coached with, Suzanne Evans. I really like, obviously, the original was always Ali Brown. She was the first person I ever sort of invested with or joined the program and stuff, I think. And now it's kind of, it's way beyond what because it's more for people who are just starting out in business, really. So, but there's so many. I mean, I'm so blessed to have so many amazing women around me. My colleague who I do my telesummits with, Trisha Dyker, she's just an amazing coach. Also, Ursula O'Connell, she's just brilliant. These are people I've connected with, joint venture partners, and who I absolutely love. She's the LinkedIn expert, Viveka von Rosen. I absolutely love her. She's a really cool chick. There's so many amazing women that I'm so blessed just to have in my circle of influence that I can, connect with and talk with and joint venture with. So I feel very blessed.
I agree. The online world is such a great place to meet people.
And it just opens up the world. And the funny thing is, though, it makes the world so small, because I'm going to an event in a few weeks' time. Mm-hmm. It's like every single speaker on the thing, I know every single one of them. So it's kind of crazy, it's like, it does get, the world just shrinks so much. Yes. And to meet someone and they're connected to somebody else, and it just gets kind of small.
So before we wrap things up, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Oh, I just think go out there, do there, and spread your brilliance, spread your gifts and make a difference. Yeah.
Very, very good. So I'm going to include all of your links in the show notes for this episode, but could you mention really quickly, where can people find you online?
Well, ResourcesQueen, just put in ResourcesQueen. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, or Mary M. Joyce. That's my main website with my blog, because I have to have the M in there because there's somebody else called Mary Joyce who's an author, so they've got that domain. I keep trying to get it, so I hope it'll just come free. So yeah, marymjoyce.com or ResourcesQueen, because that's kind of my domain. But I did actually put something just together, especially just for you. Ooh. I didn't get a chance to send it to you today, Holly. Okay. But I've got a little gift for everyone, just for your people.
Oh, fabulous.
Because we talk about joint ventures and affiliates.
Yes.
So I've put a little special report for people who really want to start looking at, getting some affiliate, because there's so many opportunities for you to put affiliate stuff into your business.
Yes.
So if they go to bit, which is my favorite URL shortener, it's bit. I will send this link to you anyway, Holly.
Excellent. Okay.
it.ly/JV reports.
Okay,
and
excellent.
A lovely free report for everybody. It's just the top 3 tools I use to leverage joint venture partners and also to help you increase sales.
Fantastic. And I think that's so important, because joint ventures are, I think, the single best way to really kind of take your business to that next level.
And increase your reach as well, because it really brings new people into. Because I know I've met some amazing people through, and this is the thing as well. Maybe just one more point.
Yes, of course.
In business, it's about collaboration, because some people have this mindset of lack, or that So sometimes not everyone's going to be ideal to work with you, or just recommend them onto other people. There's there's plenty around for everybody. So share your resources, share your tools, and be giving and recommend other people.
Yes,
collaborate. There's plenty to go around.
I agree, and that's why I really, really don't believe in competition, because we're all so unique and we're all so different, and people are really buying into us and to our energy and to how we work with people, and not the thing that we're offering.
That's exactly it. You even find the same in real life, bricks and mortar, because you'll have 2 same shops, especially in London, because we both live in London, 2 same shops doing exactly the same thing, but you're just drawn to one for some reason. It's more than likely it's the people in there.
Yes.
Drawn to them, and that's exactly it.
Totally agree with that. Thank you so much for sharing all of your amazing tips with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Holly.
Thank you very much. I'll just wrap this up then. So thank you also for listening to the listeners. Remember to visit sociallyholistic.com/SHP15 for the show notes on this episode. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Socially Holistic Podcast with your host, Holly Wharton. Please help us help more women in business by giving us a 5-star review of this podcast. The more women who find out about this podcast, the more successful businesses there will be. So please leave a 5-star review today over at iTunes. Thank you.